The third discipline from the 4 disciplines of effective execution is to keep a compelling scoreboard. I'm going to break that down for you in ways that a lot of people mess it up in the beginning. First is that it needs to be compelling. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. What the whole goal of a scoreboard is to have something that you can look at and immediately know if you're winning or not. Winning is as basic as, am I doing the lead measures that I hypothesize will lead to these lag measures? We talked earlier about doing good science. This is your lab. This is where you track the things that you think will lead to it so you can see if you're right or not. So, simple manifestation, piece of paper, maybe a small piece of printer paper. I like butcher paper. I recommend in physical form, and I'll explain that more in a moment. But what you're going to do is put your lag measure on one side, have a way of tracking it, put your lead measures on the other side, and track them as well. I'll tell you a couple ways that I've seen people use this that work. Because remember, Gall's law is to start from scratch and iterate bit by bit. Because you're not going to build something complex from scratch, because then it's going to fail in ways that you can't easily diagnose and fix. So if you want something complex, start small and get from there piece by piece. So here's where a lot of people start small. Seinfeld advocated that if you wanted to become a great comedian, you needed to write jokes every single day. So get a calendar and cross off every day that you take a certain activity that gets you towards that end goal and have a way of tracking it. If you're trying to become a better comedian, maybe it's laughs, maybe it's tickets sold. You'll find a way to measure it, and that's a good lead measure that's predictive and a good way to track it. Business-wise, one of the most common lag measures is revenue. So a good way to increase revenue is by having conversations with potential clients. And another lead measure could be having conversations with potential referral partners. So if you track the lead measures of numbers of conversations each day on that calendar, and then you have a way of tracking revenue, there you go. You've got a scoreboard. And if you look at that scoreboard and you see a lack of red X's or numbers put there of how many conversations you've had, you can tell you're not winning. And you can immediately get into action and start having those conversations. The last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to creating a compelling scoreboard is that you need to be looking at it regularly. When we track ourselves in the beginning, it's often humbling to realize that we're not winning. And it's easy to just put it aside and have it be out of sight, out of mind. Because one of the most human tendencies is to say, if I didn't try, I didn't really fail. But here's the time to really try. So what I see a lot of people do is they create an Excel sheet on their computer, they make it all fancy, they feel productive, and then they don't look at it anymore. So that's why I recommend doing it in physical form somewhere in your home or in your office where you're going to be looking at it regularly. It's going to be maybe messy and something you want to keep private, so I wouldn't put it where your customers are as well, but put it somewhere that you're going to see it regularly and review it. So in the beginning, keep it simple. Have a lead measure that associates with a lag measure that you can track and immediately know if you're putting in the right work, and then make sure that it's somewhere that you're going to be seeing it, I would say, multiple times a day.